Welcome back to Soul Seed Creative, my friends. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this mandala. This is a follow-along video and is designed for anyone to be able to draw, even if you're a total beginner. All you'll need is a ruler, a compass, an eraser, 1 or 2 black pens, though ideally 2, one small and one medium-sized, and a pencil. Let's get started. First, you'll find the center of your paper. For this mandala, you don't need to be exact, we'll just eyeball it. And now you'll grab your compass and set it to a little less than an inch. Place the pointy end of the compass on the center mark of your paper and draw your first circle. You want to have almost all the weight on the pointy end of the piece and just lightly drag the pencil end on the paper. Now we're just going to make a series of circles extending out. Yours don't have to match exactly as mine, but do take note of the approximate spacing between the circles. You can see some are further apart and some are closer together. Now we'll take our ruler and draw some lines. First, line up the ruler vertically with the center of the paper. You can also eyeball this to make sure the ruler is as straight up and down as possible, and we'll do the same thing horizontally. Now we will create some paper pizza slices by splitting these sections of the paper in half like so. Eyeball this angle as well and just try to get as close as you can to the middle between these two lines. And we'll do this on the other side of the paper as well. And now we'll continue this, but with smaller sections. Do the same thing as before, and don't worry too much about these being perfect. Your mandala will turn out beautiful even if these are a little off. Now, I'm drawing this mandala with no plan, just intuition, so I've decided I want another smaller circle in the direct center, so go ahead and draw that. And now we will start making our drawing. Find these points on your paper, and this is where we will start our first lines. We're going to start with this triangle-like shape, and we'll just repeat this around the whole circle. Before we go any further, I'm going to show you 3 options of how you can draw the shapes inside of your mandala. Some are easier and some are harder. First, you can use the shape we just created with straight lines, kind of like a triangle. Second, you can use a flower petal pattern. I will primarily be using this one. This one takes more practice, so feel free to draw a bunch of them on scrap paper before you start. The third option is somewhere in the middle, just a slightly curved line. Practice these if you want, and I also invite you to play with using all of them in your drawing. Now we will create our next layer. Find these points on your paper and choose one of our 3 shapes to use. Here I'm using the petal. Continue this pattern around the whole circle, making sure all the base points meet at the tip of the triangle. Now we're going to add a curved line behind these petals, and again, these don't have to be perfect, and approximate where they start and end. And here we'll create another petal inside of this one. Start the petal about halfway up the triangle shape. There's no marker for the top of the petal, so eyeball this as well. And don't be afraid to erase if you need. And now we'll just add another curved line above this one. Now find these 3 points on your paper and we will make another larger petal. Continue this around the entire circle as well. And now find these 3 points on your paper and we're going to draw another smaller petal on the inside of this larger one. Next, you'll just outline the circle that meets the tip of these petals. And here we'll just add some decorative lines, just slightly curved behind that big petal, and the ends will meet this circle that we just outlined. And I've now decided that I want another accent circle just slightly bigger than the existing one we just outlined. So grab your compass and measure it out a little bit longer than the original circle. And we're going to make also one more slightly larger circle just because I decided I wanted the mandala to be a little bit bigger. Now we'll draw another petal starting here and ending here. Now we'll make another little shape here, starting in the center of this petal. Again, approximate where the line ends. And I'll say it again, don't be afraid to erase and redo a line. And at the same time, it really doesn't have to be perfect either. And here we're just going to add another small petal on the outside of the larger ones. Estimate where these start and end. And now take your eraser and using the edge of your eraser, just very, very gently erase some of the pencil marks, leaving enough graphite on the paper for you to be able to still see the drawing. So you can see I'm just really gently using the edge of the eraser and nothing else. I'm not pressing very hard, just kind of getting most of it off of the paper. Now wipe the eraser shreds off of your paper, or if you want to be fancy, you can use a brush. And now we'll grab our pen. It's totally fine to just use one, but the mandala will come alive in a really cool way if you also have a second pen that is a bit thicker. Here's what mine look like. This is the thinner one, and that's the thicker one. So I've sped this part up a bit. We're just going over the mandala with the smaller of the two pens. So here I've decided that I want to continue these curved lines into a petal that overlaps the bigger petal that's already there. And now we'll grab the eraser again, and this time we're going to fully erase any pencil marks that we can still see on the paper. Now we're going to go in and really make this mandala come to life. We're going to add details and thicken up some lines. First, we'll add a series of curved lines in between this layer of petals. You can start with a straight line down the middle and curve the lines out from there. We'll repeat this around the entire circle. Next, we will add these triangle type shapes inside of this top petal. So it's just a series of slightly curved triangles that reach up towards the top of the petal. Again, repeat this around the entire circle. And now we're going to add this interesting little flower shape inside of this smaller petal here. And now we're going to come a little bit closer into the center of the mandala and make a leaf pattern. So again, here you can start with the center line and then work your way out from there. I'll zoom in so you can see it a bit better. And now we're going to add some little half circle fringe type patterns to the outside of these petals here. And next I'll have you grab your thicker pen if you have it, and we're just going to go over some of our lines again to really make it pop. And switching back to our smaller pen just for a sec, we'll add some small little triangles in here. And here I'm going to speed this up again just to outline some more lines with this thicker pen. If you don't have one, no worries, just skip this step. Or you can even go over these lines again with the same pen that you had, and that will automatically make the lines a bit thicker. This is optional as well, but to make these petals look a bit more lively, we can thicken up the tips by doing this. And now we'll just keep outlining these various lines with the thicker pen. And right in here, let's add a curved line with a thicker pen. And then once you've done that, we're just going to fill in the inside of that little curved line with the thick pen. And here on the outside of these petals, go ahead and add the thicker tips here as well if you desire. And now we're just going to add some decorative dots around the tips of these petals. And now switching back to the smaller pen, we're going to add some dots to fill in one of the petals. It's hard to see what I'm doing with my hand in the way, but essentially you'll just make enough dots to where it colors in the petal a bit. To get a bit of a shaded effect like I kind of do here, you can put more dots closer to the bottom of the petal than the tip. And now we're going to go back to the bigger pen and add in thicker lines just on the outside of this petal, where we drew these lines before. And here I'm just gonna add a few little dots. And we're getting towards the end. Now we're just gonna make some triangle shapes in all of these spaces. And now we're gonna color in just the bottom part of this shape. Make sure to keep white between the shape we just drew and where you color in the black. And now we will add another smaller triangle shape inside of this one. You can use the thicker pen for this or the smaller one, it doesn't really matter. And lastly, we will just go over this little flower shape again with a thicker pen. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed drawing this mandala. I'd love to see your drawings, so find me on Instagram and tag me in your stories so I can see them. Comment below if you liked this video and would love more tutorial videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!